Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel, Cliff's Dark Gems. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a catch-up on my reading for January, and I'm going to show you some of the books that I've finished. And I just want you to know it's going to be more like a chat about how the books made me feel, about some of the themes. It's not going to be so much about the characters and the plot, so there'll be no spoilers at all. I just want to talk about where we are so far in January. Okay, everyone, the first book that we're going to be looking at is the longest one I've read so far in January, and this book has been intriguing me for a little while, and it is Stephen King, 11/22/63. Now I know that I said during my TBR that this was a love story and it was a time travel novel, and I didn't really know anything else besides that. What I can say is that Stephen King has successfully magically woven all these different genres and themes and created a wonderful story. So it's a multi-genre book. It's not just about any one thing. It's a time travel book. Jake Epping, a school teacher, finds a wormhole almost to take him back to 1958. And the time travel aspect of it is, it asks the question, what if? What if you can travel back in time and change things? Big or small. What if you can stop a murder? And what if you can save a president? It also questions what are the ramifications, what are the consequences of doing things like this as well. So it's not just about that there's going to be wonderful things happening if you stop this assassination. What could go wrong? What could happen? Okay? This book is also a historical novel. It looks back at the time of 1958. And he just paints it so beautifully. You know, the way he describes small town America, the way he describes in this book not just the small town America, but also the political landscape of that time, 1958, and in the 1960s. And he just does that so wonderfully well. It's also a love story, as I said. But the love story is so intricately woven into the plot that I don't really want to talk about that anymore. It also has elements of horror, some serious human horror and violence. So really, I don't know, it's all this dark and light woven in together, and he just does it so well. I have to say the first 300 pages fly by. The first 300 pages are filled with wonder. You're transported into this world, this past 1958, and it's almost like you feel like you're a stranger in a strange land. Everything is alien, there's no technology, and you have to survive. And at the same time, you have the power. You have the power to make things, to make a difference, to change. In the first 3/4 of the second half of the novel, I think the middle part was a little bit of a drag. The story almost ground to, I wouldn't say a halt, but there was a little bit too much politics involved, and I didn't really care much for it. The last part of the story, however, was wonderful. There's so much suspense, there's so much nail-biting tension as you count down to the date, and things start to happen everywhere. Just all in all, this is a wonderful, wonderful novel, and the only reason I'm giving it 4 stars as opposed to 5 is because of that middle section that dragged a bit for me, but well worth the read. Okay, the second book I'm going to talk about is R Lansdale, Savage Season. Now this is a short, quick read. It's a hell of a lot of fun, and it's about these 2 good old southern boys called Hap and Leonard. Now this is apparently the first of a series with these 2 in it, and they come across this thing where they might get some easy money. And Hap, in fact I have to read the back for you, because it's hilarious, and the style in which it's written as well is just so hilarious. Here comes Trudy back into Hap's life. 36 but looking 10 years younger. with long blonde hair and legs that begin under her chin, and the kind of walk that'll make a man run his car off the road for a look. Here comes trouble, says Leonard, and he's right. She was always trouble. But she had this laugh when she was happy in bed that could win Hap over every time. Plus she has a proposition, an easy $200,000 tax-free. Just a simple matter of digging it up is all. Let's just say with this book, when Hap and Leonard join this group to get this money, things go from bad to worse and to very worse. Now the book is called Savage Season, and savage is a perfect way to describe this book. It's savagely hilarious in the plot and in the dialogue, and it is also savagely violent. There are parts at the end of the story that no one can write like R Lansdale. Okay, and for my last short and easy read, this is Graham Masterson, Charnel House. This is not a well-written book. In fact, it is sometimes atrociously written. The characters are poor. There's hardly any character development at all. And yet, somehow, Graham Masterson pulls you in. And it's just a fun, gory, 70s, just a fun ride. Some of his horror set pieces are hysterical and scary. And it's about a monster, a demon. I actually want to read the back of this as well. Of course, people thought Seymour Wallace was crazy, but he insisted that his house was breathing and that he heard someone or something's heartbeat pounding within the walls. The disbelievers investigated, mocking at the existence of ghosts and devils, until their reason was shattered by the shrieking unseen being that threatened to take their lives. By then it was far too late to halt the towering, malevolent force from finding its way into the world once more. Too late to stop the return of a grotesque and terrible creature that had haunted the land in ancient days and wanted only to resume its eternally evil mission of cruel annihilation. Okay, so this book is cheesy as hell. Just to give you an idea, the demon's name is first one to use words for force, or otherwise known as coyote. And one of the Native American heroes. Okay, now you need to understand this is a 70s book. It is not PC. It's not politically correct on any level. There's racism, there's sexism. But the Native Americans are actually treated with kind of respect, even though in this book they're called Red Indians. But the Native American who actually, in my mind, is the hero of the story, his name is George Thousand Names. So just to give you an idea how absolutely bizarre and how twisted this book is. Like I say, it's not well written, but a hell of a lot of fun. So I recommend picking up Graham Masterson. It is only his third novel, and he's written many. The Mirror is probably my favourite I've read so far, and that's well worth the effort. And that's a lot less cheesy and corny than this novel. Okay, finally, I have started reading The Terror. As in the comments section below, Adam Rodriguez would like a book review of this, and I'll be giving this next week. As you can see, I've only just started reading it, so I've got nothing ready to say yet, but I will get back on this book. And then also the one I'm going to be reading after that is The Troop, because Maria, also in the comments on that video, said she'd like my thoughts on that book, and if it's too squeamish or not. But thank you everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you again very soon.